My name is Rashi, and this is LitFest put on by Lit Comedy. And the group you're seeing tonight, as hopefully you already know, is Thermal Runaway, Lit's long-form comedy team. This is Daniel. Give us a wave, Daniel, if you're there. And Jennifer. And Gifford.
Hey.
And Caitlin. Hopefully this is not anyone's first time seeing comedy, but if it is, in the event that it is, this is entirely made up. So Thermal Runaway is going to be performing a fully improvised talk show for you and a completely made up, fully improvised radio soap opera. And by radio soap opera, I mean that it's going to be 1940s style. You're only going to hear their voices telling this story. So we're going to need some help from you today. And throughout the show, I'll be asking you for some suggestions for words and for other things that our improvisers can use to create new worlds out of. But before we do that, Gifford is going to start us off with a story. Gifford?
Let me make sure I'm not on mute. Yeah, thanks, Rashi. Okay, so here's a story, and it just is a story. So what I want to take some time to tell you folks about is the best hug I ever received. Now, I realize, especially now, how even imagining a hug can be hard, and as a natural born hugger, even remembering what a hug feels like can be hard. But this hug I'm about to share with you, just affected me in a way that I wasn't expecting. To start, let me tell you where I was. It's 2002. I'm in Antarctica working with the U.S. Antarctic program. This was my third season down with science support and my first season on the helicopter pad. Now, there are two types of people in Antarctica, or at least the U.S. Antarctic program. The first are the scientists. They're known as beakers. And then the science support staff, they're known as townies. And I was a townie. So most of the townies recognize that there are better jobs out there within station, and those are the jobs that take you outside. And what better way to get outside than to help scientists get to their field camps? My title was helicopter technician, and basically I just help keep scientists safe around the helicopter, right? Like, they're so focused on their research, they're trying to get their gear together that they sometimes forget that there's a big spinning blade of death at the back of the helicopter, otherwise known as a tail rotor. So we had two types of helicopters down there, one small, one medium. And when you're assigned to the medium helicopter, you actually get to fly around because it's just big enough that the pilots need help offloading the scientists and whatnot. So it's my first season on the helicopter pad, like I said, and one of the most get outside workstations there is, the helicopter group. And we have a checklist. So, like, have you been here? Have you been here? Have you seen the penguin rookery at Cape Royds? Have you been to the top of the southernmost volcano in the world, Mount Erebus? Have you been to the top of some random iceberg frozen in McMurdo Sound? And so we're in the last month of the field season, and I had yet to fly to the volcano, Mount Erebus. And obviously this is just more of a check the box kind of a scenario because when you're going up there with the helicopter and offloading any gear of any sort, you usually come down with this pounding headache because of the altitude, right? It's at 14,000 feet, and any exertion just wipes you out. But I wanted to see the lava lake. Who doesn't want to see a bubbling lava lake? Because it's kind of cool. So we had two medium helicopters flying that day. I was assigned to one. My boss was assigned to the other. And one was assigned to go to the volcano, and the other was sent to the frozen lake in Taylor Valley to move big boxes from the center to the shore, which is boring. And guess which aircraft I was assigned? I was assigned boring box duty. So as luck would have it, my supervisor said, you've not been to the top of the volcano. Why don't we just switch aircraft today? You go to Mount Erebus, I'll take on boring box duty. So he offered a trade, and I said, sweet, thanks. Headache be damned, I get to see the top of Mount Erebus. And that's the first half of the story.
First half? Crummy. Thanks a lot, Gifford.
No problem.
All right. Well, it's time for our fully improvised talk show. And so put up that chat box if you can, because I need 4 one-word suggestions, one for each of our improvisers. And so the first word, fantastic. That's yours, Daniel. Fantastic. Our next word, baseball. That goes to Jennifer. Wait, fantastic was spelled wrong? How's it supposed to be spelled? The suspense is killing me. Worse than Gifford's story. Orange. Orange will be Gifford's word.
Orange.
And SpaceX. That will be Caitlin's word. Okay, now that we have our words, I need one more thing from you. We need a title for this talk show. What is the name of this talk show that y'all have never seen before? Don't be shy, everyone. Jam it there in the text. Sex all around us. You know what? Let's combine these. Sex all around us, comma, get on with it.
Oh, the figures like cousins in arms.
So, Gifford.
I'm so excited to be on NPR today. We're just starting a new talk show, but I'm happy to be with guests that I've known for years. Jennifer and I go back decades. So here you have Sex All Around Us. Get on with it. I know, surprising title for NPR, but you'll be surprised to see what we talk about. But first up on my guest list, we have Daniel. Daniel and I go back since 2011. Daniel, why don't you explain to the audience a little bit about what you do?
Yes, well, I'm a researcher at the University of Chicago, sociologist, and I research sex.
Well, that's obviously not a surprise given the title of our NPR show. So thanks for stating the obvious. We are going to get on with it. Jennifer, you and I, we've gone back the longest of the panel. And why don't you share with the folks listening in a little bit about what you do?
So Gifford, I just want to say before we get started, Daniel's research is fantastic. My research, I hope one day will be quite as good. But yes, I do study sex and all of the bases, as you may be familiar with them from grade school. I have never grown up, still a little immature, got my own podcast. It's really a great time to be a podcaster who's a little bit immature.
That it is, especially during COVID. What better time to be immature? And last but certainly not least, we have Caitlin. Caitlin and I, we met at the gym, 5-6 years ago? And Caitlin has been generous enough to spend a little bit of time on this first edition of the NPR show. Caitlin, why don't you tell the folks a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Gifford. Love being on my gym buddy show. I'm Caitlin. I'm a professional celebrity nanny. Been at it since I was 17 years old. I'm currently the nanny to Elon Musk and Grimes. Elon Musk, as you know, CEO, founder of SpaceX and Tesla, and Grimes, a very funky singer.
Fantastic. Oh, I love it. So the format of this NPR show is a little bit different. We're going to try and rely as much as possible on the folks that are listening in. But of course, I have some questions in my pocket because I can't help but be interested in a little bit about what your thoughts are. You know, obviously, you know, the first thing that comes to mind is, you know, during COVID, what's the best vacation spot to go to? And I'm talking about vacation spot if you want to unwind, relax, blow off some steam, or as this show is titled, get on with it. Let's start with Caitlin.
Best vacation spot for doing the dirty?
Sure, if that's where you want to take with it, yeah, let's go there.
I'm having tons of experience of having to watch celebrities' kids while they bump ugly heads with whatever fine thing they picked up at the airport. I have to say, Bora Bora has been a lovely experience. Just having to shield the kids' eyes and then make sure they don't see anything that traumatizes them down the line.
Nice. Bora. That's a lot to think about. Jennifer, let's go with you. And not only are we going to talk about vacation spots, because I know you have at least half a dozen in your back pocket, while you're answering the question, I really wanted to know, because you're so familiar with bases, is fourth base really a thing, or can folks just call it home plate?
Well, Gifford, I mean, I seem to remember us getting to fourth base sophomore year, so.
Well, yes.
I think you can affirm fourth base exists.
Absolutely. So whoever sent that question in, now you know. Fourth base is totally a thing. It's totally a thing, especially when you have bunk beds. But yeah, so your vacation spot.
So I think I get bonus points for making the NPR host blush. Sorry to air your dirty laundry, Gifford, but you know, West Virginia University, that's a little bit crazy. Before we got into the but favorite vacation spots. It's usually a toss-up between right field and left field. During the coronavirus, though, given the fact that you need to be as socially distant as possible, I'd say make your way to center field. You can do a lot from there.
Oh, I like it. And I like how you stick with the baseball theme, especially since now we have baseball maybe even coming back to our nation. I know it's been playing in South Korea for a while, but that's some excellent insight. Daniel, I did not mean to leave you out of this. Buddy, where is the best vacation spot for, getting it on?
Well, look, let's put things in perspective. I mean, with all this social distancing, there's nothing happening, and it's a crisis. I mean, everyone talks about pandemic and economic collapse, but this is our future, our society. I mean, we need people to procreate, and damn it, you can do it with a mask on, and you can do it anywhere, really.
Well, I don't disagree that it's a crisis if folks are unable to have sex, both from a procreation standpoint and a recreation standpoint. In fact, you probably hear all of these first responders probably responding to households that are wondering how can they get on with it. Some other questions have come in, and I'm really pleased to want to ask. There's so much. Working for money. Are we trying to better society, or are we just trying to, say, improve our own lots in life? Let's go backwards. Daniel, especially with your position in academia, I'm sure you got some thoughts on this.
Yes, money does not matter. You can live a fulfilled life as long as you're getting it on constantly. And you can be as rich as you want or as poor, it doesn't matter.
You know, I want to pull on that thread a little bit. You said getting it on as much as possible. I mean, don't folks have some amount of refractory period? Like, are you suggesting that folks then need to like branch out from just the normal sort of intercourse and maybe focus on some of the tangential ways and methods in which you might be able to please your partner or partners, as the case may be?
Absolutely. That's developing the relationship and technique and all that. And, take it from me. I just used my books to get it on.
I see. Okay. Jennifer, please weigh in. I know you have some thoughts on this, especially being a mountaineer. Go West Virginia.
Yeah. I mean, again, you remember being townies, basically. We lived there 24/7. So yeah, I would love to make a living as a podcaster. It's tough right now. I'm not gonna lie. I've tried really hard to get Daniel to sponsor my podcast. I think there are just a lot of synergies there, a lot of business alignment, a lot of connections, a lot of networking that could happen. Anyway, my request has been denied repeatedly, so don't think I won't stop trying, Daniel. And I keep adding a number of bases every single time that I go in for that request, which has not yet appealed to this expert. But what I want to say is this: I have convinced mom and dad to keep me on their payroll. So, you know what? I'm living for my own betterment. I'm living for the betterment of people who want to continue to figure out, how do we approach society right now? What does it mean to live in 2020. It's absolutely nuts. And the analogies, I think, to baseball just really assure people it's America's favorite pastime. It's a classic. It's really retro at this point. Who knows if it will come back in the same form it was. So just, I like to think that I give everyone just a little breather from all the bad news.
Well, I like the idea of breather. And let's be honest, with the rule change, extra innings, you automatically get to second base. So we're already kind of leading our ways down a very sexualized sort of society. Caitlin, I saw you making a bit of a face, but I'm sure you could kind of explain what you're thinking. How do you want to weigh in on this topic? Betterment for yourself or society? Or just extra bases?
I've seen money change people. Gifford, I honestly have. Elon Musk, I may say, was just a regular old nerdy entrepreneur, and he got some money, and now he's just very special. I didn't want to blast my own employer, but his son, whose name I still can't pronounce, by the fact working for them for a couple of months now, he's out of touch, but you know what? He's able to continue to smack women half my age, and ups and downs of money. Better in society sometimes. I don't know. I have a job. That's better for my society.
There you go. I like where you took that. And let's be honest, money isn't everything. I see here that, someone is really interested in nutrition and more specifically what the best meal is to eat when you're trying to engage in very aerobic activity, I imagine, right? So again, to the title of the show, what is the best meal to eat before you're getting it on? Why don't we start with Jennifer, my favorite roommate when we were in college?
So just like baseball, it all comes down to statistics, Gifford. I have my own personal ranking of the best pre-sex foods, and it really is a spectrum of do you really need to get in the mood because you're feeling a little bit iffy about this partner, or are you really in the mood and you need a lot of stamina? So how I would rank those, obviously thinking anywhere from if you're feeling like you really need to get in the mood, I'd say an aphrodisiac, probably want to stick with maybe cherries, oysters, something classic, something light. Now, if you're going for the stamina, that has got to be just full-on shots. Just shots of whatever alcohol you have in your liquor cabinet. That's it, Kimber.
Wow, shots. I mean, in my head, I was thinking back to all of those pasta dinners we made, but I see you've gone to some high-octane stamina building stuff there. I like it. That's good.
Gifford, are you single again? I mean, you keep bringing this up. Is that why you invited me here?
I didn't want to come straight out and say it. But yeah, no, I'm probably on the market. And so knowing that you have gained some wisdom in all of your baseball studies, I feel like, now would be as good a time as any to sort of see if there's still flame there.
You know how I know, Gifford? It's
Wow.
how every baseball fan knows. It's by looking at your butt.
Oh. Okay. I'm going to put a pin on that. Thank you. The question again was...
You can send me a photo of your butt.
Okay. How about...
I have my phone.
I will do that after I ask Daniel this question. Daniel, buddy, we've shared a bunch of cheesesteaks all the way to pizza in this long path we call life. What is the food that gets you in the mood? And I'll just step on the camera so I can take a shot of my butt.
But Gifford, I want to respond to Jennifer's last comment because I've known you a long time and you're very prolific.
Yeah.
You're very prolific, and you've been through a dry spell. So grab every opportunity that you can.
I'm trying to grab all that I can. Why do you think I'm so happy that baseball is letting extra innings get straight to second base? That sort of implies some grabbing right from the
Absolutely.
get-go, you know?
Yeah, and you know, you can grab whatever food you need along the way, but you know, just focus on your target and go to it.
Okay, you know, maybe I'll just turn this question into how to help me. Caitlin, forget about the question about food. You know, what do you think I should do?
Well,
Do not sabotage me, Caitlin, like you did in 2006 with Richard. I remember that. Do not even bring up that one time that I got thrown out at second base.
I wasn't going to mention that at all. Of course not. It's all in the past. It's all behind me, pardon the pun. Giver, I will say what does help maybe is when you're in the gym, not checking out everybody act machine, it kind of is a bad look.
Oh, well, okay. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And you know what? I want to try and give this show as much chance of succeeding as I can. So maybe we'll just end on a final question, okay? Before we leave it for the viewers to go on to up first. And, you know, there's so many opportunities. Again, folks listening, feel free to go into the chat box. You know, I have a question about location, and in particular, extreme locations. Daniel, in your studies, have you found that, say, being in an extremely cold place like Antarctica, does that help you get in the mood, or does that prohibit getting in the mood because you're so worried about keeping your fingers and toes warm?
Well, cold weather is an amazing aphrodisiac because it's just human nature. You need the warmth of another body. Boy, do people get it on in Antarctica. I mean, boy, do they do. But that's not just saying cold climates. I mean, it works in any climate. You know, the heat, people need to relax. Again, a warm body helps you relax. You know what we really need to do is start exploring the next frontier, space. How to get it on with your spacesuits.
That would be an interesting research question for sure.
It's the title of my next book.
Really?
Yeah, how to get it on in space.
That sounds like a page turner, Daniel. I don't know what else to say about that. Caitlin, how about you? Have you, in your experience, you know, extreme locations and aphrodisiacal stuff?
Oh, Gifford, I have seen so many different places to do it that have done so many different things for the people I work for. I cannot disclose them specifically because of the NDAs I have signed. However, I will say a little birdie told me, much to Daniel's point, SpaceX is investing in SpaceX to be coming out in 2024, launching people into space to get it on in space, especially for those people who like to be just a little lack of oxygen while doing it.
Well,
perfect for them. Very exciting things.
That opens up a whole new class. You're right, and it probably will help normalize what probably should have been normalized years ago. So
Kink shaming is out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Jennifer, you know, I'll ask this question about extreme locations, and you know, feel free to share anything from your personal history as well as just more general, I guess, knowledge for the viewers at home or listeners at home.
Yeah, sure. And I'm just going to start warming up. Yeah, first, I'm going to the batting cages down at 123 Main. So I'll be there in about 20 minutes. I know that's just a couple blocks away from where your apartment is. So anyway, I'll be there getting warmed up. Extreme locations. Yeah, I would say definitely when we snuck into our sociology professor, not Dr. Kallinger, Dr. Smith's office,
Right.
third base.
Yeah.
That's up there in my list, you know?
Right, because campus police were following us, and then we lost them, and then they found us, and then we had to like lose them again, but we were kind of like grabbing our clothes at the same time. Like that was definitely that was a hot moment for sure.
And just if I could go on the record, look, anyone can use my office anytime. Just clean up after, please.
You're going on the record, Daniel. This is a nationally syndicated first run of an NPR radio show. I'm sure that 13 or maybe 17 people are listening, so you should be careful with what you put out there.
Well, I'm encouraging people to get it on, and I'm going to walk the walk too.
Well,
So make it Daniel's office instead of the batting cages. Yeah.
all right. Well, I'm putting Daniel's office in my phone right now because why not? I will say that it has been a treasure to chat with you, and I want to try and leave on some kind of philosophical note. I've seen where someone thinks that there is no cuddling in baseball. The question is this person right? And if so, what are the options? Jennifer, I see you warming up, so I want to end with you because that, I think, is just how this show should go. So, Kaylin, you first. Is there cuddling in baseball?
After babysitting for Alex Rodriguez's kids, there is absolutely cuddling in baseball and much, much more in the dugout, if you know what I mean.
I do, and I see your point about those tight pants. That's phenomenal. Daniel, in all of your studies of research, what you're at University of Chicago, that's like home to 2 baseball teams. Break it down for me. Is there cuddling in baseball?
Absolutely, and it's scientifically proven. And there's not only cuddling, there is acrobatics and tandem stretching and so much more.
Tandem stretching, that's almost like partner yoga, only in baseball tight pants. That is pretty hot. Jennifer, I wanted to end with you because I know you're going to be explosive, and your bases so well. The bat rack to the ball boys. Can you tell me if there's cuddling in baseball?
Yeah, I can definitively say there is no cuddling in baseball. First base is officially a boob grab, so I'm sorry if it doesn't make the cut, doesn't count. It's not going in the books. You're basically out.
Wow. Well, I'm going to end it there because, what else more can you say? Everyone who tuned in to Sex All Around Us, get on with it. NPR's first run of a sexually explicit radio show. Thank you for joining. My name is Gifford. I'm the host. I love oranges, and I'm also from the Sunshine State of Florida. I'm going to give it back to Rashi.
Oh, he's from Florida. Everything makes sense now. Ugh. Well, before we get back to the second half of Gifford's story, which I'm sure you're all dying to know, what sex happened in Antarctica. I wanted to let you know, if you hadn't heard when Nancy told you at the top, if you purchased a $15 ticket, that proceeds from those tickets will be split 3 ways between LIT's Diversity Scholarship, which supports comedy education for all, the Equal Justice Initiative, and also Doctors Without Borders. And I'm going to drop in the chat box for you this link. So when you come across your favorite moments, share them with these hashtags, GetLit20 and LITFest20. And after the show, don't forget to vote for your favorite performers of the festival for the Laughers Choice Award. And I will send that link too. You may have already seen those, but can't hurt to see them again. So, Gifford, are you ready?
Yeah. I'm ready for the second half.
All right, let's do it.
right, so the second half. So basically, I left y'all off with basically I'm in one of those medium helicopters. I'm heading up to Mount Erebus, the volcano. My boss swapped with me, and he's flying across the sea ice to Taylor Valley to move some boring boxes around, right? Just so you know, there's an island, and then that sound that he's flying across, and then Taylor Valley is on the continent, so there's a bit of space in between, and this marine layer kind of flew in, right? Now, that cut us off from the two helicopters that were working in Taylor Valley, but the volcano was high enough that it was above the marine layer. So we basically flew up, popped up above the clouds. I got to see the lava lake. I got a headache, and then we came back down, and basically I was just like sitting in a chair, nursing my headache with a lot of water. Weather prevented us from going to help out with the Taylor Valley helicopters, so we just waited and waited and waited some more until a radio call came over saying that 7-9 uniform has gone down, and we all were like, down? Like, did they land? Or no, they went down as in they crashed. And that really sort of shook us up. We were all stunned. All the helitechs that were on the helicopter pad, we gathered rescue personnel from the firehouse. We established an emergency operations center, or EOC. We collected gear. We readied aircraft to then fly out there, but we had all this weather in between. We had basically a big cloud. So we waited and we waited and we were frustrated. The clouds were still sort of clogging up the flight path. But then there was a break in the weather. For folks that fly, it's called a sucker hole because it suckers you in. But this was life and death. There were people, our people were like on the ground, crashed. And so they kind of popped through the sucker hole. Only pilots and rescue personnel went out. So like me and my other helitechs, we were just sort of waiting and just listening to the radio and seeing what they saw. They arrived and they reported back like this twisted mess. The helicopter landed hard enough to spill fuel from spill-proof fuel tanks and splay the landing skids of the helicopter like a gymnast doing the splits. The pilot and the helitech were badly injured. The tech, where I would have been sitting in particular, had broken his back, had punctured both lungs, had pierced a few solid organs, and was actually drowning in his own blood that was filling his lungs during this whole sort of rescue mission process. The folks packaged him up, put him on a helicopter, they flew to the ice runway, they put him on a jet, and between crash and ER doors, it was 24 hours, which obviously by urban standards is horrible, but by Antarctic standards, 24 hours from injury to hospital is amazing, and amazing and short. So we were relieved, we were praying for Steve and Greg, but we were all exhausted after an emotional, adrenaline-filled 20 hours. But see, here's the thing. No one on station knew who was on that aircraft. Only we knew, and we forgot because like we were living it for 20 hours. So no one had an idea of like who was heading to work late the next day and who was maybe fighting for their survival. So I remember waking up the next morning. We had a chance to wake up late because they call it a safety stand down. And I stepped into the galleyway a little later than normal. And you know, the galley is like any tiled maze of hot food stalls and pebble ice beaches of canned and fresh fruit, right? So I turn a corner and with my meal tray in hand and I see Marshall. So Marshall worked in the galley and we also got to play on the same volleyball team. We, that year, were the international champions of volleyball, but that's only because there was a team from the New Zealand base that played and we crushed them. So I see her and she drops her tongs and runs over and squeezes me and gives me this like crazy, crazy hug, pulls apart, looks me in the eye and says, "I didn't know if you were alive," and then hugs me once again. And so, you know, in that moment, you know, I didn't think about the possibility of ever dying in Antarctica, right? And I think that hug made me appreciate just being alive. And that's why, for me, it's the best hug I've ever had. And for those that are wondering, the pilot is still flying, so he's fine. And the helitech, who had been so beat up, ended up marrying his physical therapist. And they've been married now for about 10 years, and they have a beautiful daughter. So yeah, that's the second half of my story.
All right. At least it ended well. Good. They're married. They've been married for 10 years. So next time one of us gets injured, that's what we'll hope for. Now it's time for our fully improvised radio soap opera. And to get us started, I would like for y'all to go into that chat and give us 4 one-word suggestions, one for each improviser. And while you're doing that, what is a radio soap opera, you ask? Very good question. This is going to be a 1940s style radio play, but done more in the styling of a soap opera. So you will not see any of the characters on screen. They will all be off camera. The format is pretty simple. It'll be 2-person scenes in which every time the scene switches, one character will leave and one stays, and a new character will be added. And this goes on until the circle closes and the last character and the first character finally do a scene again together. And we're going to go through this more than once because obviously we only have 4 players. So we have got our 4 suggestions here. And while I'm assigning those to our improvisers, how about this? I also need a title to this soap opera that we have never seen before. So if you would, please give us a title. So, Daniel, rail car. Jennifer, tetherball. Gifford, thermometer. And Caitlin, booty pop. And the title, let's see if I can combine some of these. All right, all my dingleberry darlings, jump if you are cold. : I'm gonna keep coming back. Players, when you're ready, begin.
Lucy, I have a great idea for a vacation. Let's take a train all the way across the country into Alaska.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That would be some adventure. You know, Daniel, the last time that we went on a road trip, it didn't end that well.
Yeah, I know. You leaving me by the side of the road and having to walk all the way back from Pennsylvania.
And
yeah.
you getting arrested for stealing those Twinkies from the 7-Eleven.
It was just a prank, but yeah, I know. But look, this time it will be different. I think we can do it right. We'll try really hard not to get on each other's nerves.
Listen, I'm in as long as we buy 2 tickets in the quiet car. Just
What?
I really need to concentrate. My tetherball competition is coming up soon, darling. And you know the dingleberries, they count on me.
I know. This is big. I want you and your team to kill it. And I was just thinking, well, first of all, you know it's a 12-day train ride. And that's a long time to be stuck in the quiet car. And the second is, if you want to be getting into your tetherball frame of mind, you need room to bounce around.
What I'm hearing is the trampoline car.
Yes, that's it. Trampoline car.
End scene.
Lucy, I don't know how to break this to you, but your tetherball dominant hand is fractured.
No. Oh my God. This is my last season with the Dingleberries. I age out next year. I age out.
I know, and it pains me to share this news with you, but you need to rest and recuperate if you have any desire to play in that final match.
Who are they going to find as a substitute? They can't possibly think that assistant captain, Caitlin, could take my spot. I mean,
She is still in school. She was made part of the coaching staff because you all didn't let her play on the team. This made her way in.
no, she just constantly reminding me about how young and beautiful she is. And honestly, like, I think she just really wants to be me. It's just whatever. It's annoying.
Well, let's focus on you actually then for a moment. There is a chance if you rest your playing hand. For
Just
example,
give me the drugs. Just give me the drugs.
well, drugs will be half the battle. The other part of the equation is rest and recuperation.
I don't want rest and recuperation, Dr. Wong. I want the drugs. I want to go out there and I want to compete.
You know, I hear you, Lucy, and what am I doing?
If you're not going to give them to me, you know I can go talk to my grandfather who runs this entire hospital. He runs this entire town, and I'll have him fire you.
End scene.
Dr. Wong,
Yes.
these booty injections are fabulous, twice the size. It's perfect to complete my booty pop maneuver at the tetherball regional championships.
Well, I know you'd like this. You know, I have to admit, this is a special formulation just for your booty.
It's great. I'm just going to get slammed that ball. I have both my hands, all my feet, and pretty much a fifth limb to make sure I smack the competition.
That's right. I mean, it's as if you planned this.
Oh, plans. I'm just so up in the air. I'm not a planner at all. You know, I just happened to fall in love with tetherball when Lucy was just glorified on the recess courts in elementary school. She really knew how to hit those balls. She was getting all this attention. Oh, Lucy, you're so good at tetherball. And you know what? She made her way up. She deserved to make her way up. And now it's my turn. She's been such an inspiration for me. Truly.
I hear you, but you know how this looks, Caitlin. It looks as if you may have sabotaged Lucy. She fractured her dominant playing hand.
Oh. It's unfortunate what happened to Lucy, but people can think what they want to think.
Well, I mean, you were playing patty cake in the playground. I dare say that maybe that was possibly part of it. You could have been a little too strong.
End scene. Lucy, sorry, Caitlin, you know, Lucy's really jealous. We should stop hanging out.
I can't believe you just called me Lucy right now.
Well,
oh, go ahead. What do you?
She's on my mind. She thinks you sabotaged her. Even though we go back a long time, she just can't come to terms with that.
Well, you know, I didn't get this injection just to win tetherball. I got it to get your attention, to keep you in my life. And well, that's just a waste of money now. God damn it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can see I can't keep my eyes away.
Well, clearly, but yet you don't want to stay. Fine, let Lucy have you. She gets you. She gets the tetherball championships. You know what? I don't care that she broke her wrist. And you know what? Maybe I did play patty cake with her a little too hard and she broke her wrist. But who says it's my fault? Maybe I've just been working out so hard. She didn't know what was coming.
Oh, you must have known.
Oh,
you always plan everything.
I just told Dr. Wong how I am not a planner, yet you accuse me of being a planner, plotting. Ugh, you think so low of me.
Schemer. Schemer's better.
Can't really argue with that.
End scene. No, I threw them all out. Every single one of your toy trains.
No way.
I'm not going to tell you where I threw them.
What? How? Why did you do that? You know, I've had those since I was 4 years old and added new trains every year, every birthday, every Christmas.
Yeah, that's why I took them all away from you. And I hid them. And I'm the only one with the key.
That's all my childhood memories.
Listen, Daniel, we wrote it in the prenup. If you ever talk to another woman with a bigger booty and better tetherball skills than me, aka we were specifically talking about one person, then I was gonna take your trains away from you.
Damn, I knew I shouldn't have signed that.
End scene. Lucy, are you sure you want to go through with this?
Yeah, I want the artificial wrist.
Okay. I don't have all the parts, and I know there's a time crunch, so I'm gonna cobble some things together. But I think I can give you the wrist that you want, the wrist that will make you a tetherball champion at the next level.
All right, Dr. Wong, but I don't want to come out looking like half Frankenstein, you know?
Oh no, I mean, of course. No, this wrist will just be on your arm. Maybe you could wear a wristband if you think that it throws you off balance.
Well, okay, I'm gonna have my people send over a little contract. Don't read it too closely, but just sign it and then send it back to me, and then I'll go under.
Well, I mean, you know I'm a doctor, not a lawyer, but I do have access to lawyers, and I'll have them look at it. Here, let me paint a picture for how augmented your risk will look. I know that the two of you may not be the best of friends, but you know Caitlin's booty?
Of course I know Caitlin's booty. It's on the front cover of every single issue of West Side Times. I mean, it's
I
just
know.
really frustrating.
I know. So imagine that accentuation, but on your wrist.
I mean, it sounds too good to be true. But
It kind of does.
But
And
let's
the-
talk.
Dr. Wong, how could you?
Look, she came to my office and sought out some medical advice that then led to a procedure and a bunch of legal paperwork on her end, which is kind of the reverse. But I had to treat her like a patient.
You stabbed me in the back. You don't think I didn't recognize the same implant in her wrist as you put into my fingers to break her wrist playing patty cake, and that you then injected to my butt? My booty pop didn't even work against the strength of her wrist.
I know the booty pop is split across two halves of your booty, and her wrist pop was just focused on her dominant hand. It was kind of
You
like,
know what I look like now? You
uh,
know what I look like now? A loser.
No.
I worked my entire life to be the best at tetherball, to beat Lucy in her own game, and you stabbed me in the back.
yeah, I see that, but I mean, look on the bright side. You have a great booty and some accentuated fingers.
It's all for naught. I couldn't keep Daniel. I lost the tetherball regional championship. You, Dr. Wong, are getting a scathing Yelp review.
Now,
End scene.
yeah, I got the pec pop from Dr. Wong. Isn't it awesome?
It looks really good. Whew.
Yeah.
I've never seen pecs quite like those.
I know.
really-
It's amazing what all this steroids will do.
You could crush a tetherball with those man mountains.
I could push a train with this. Huh.
Daniel, why did you come back to show me your enormous pecs when you know you denied me? You come to tease me again? I'm
No,
persuaded.
look, truth is I can't stay away. And Lucy already took my train collection, so if you don't mind, I'd like to still hang out.
Even though I'm a tetherball loser?
You know, I like that you do lots of things. You know, you tried tetherball, you've tried lawn bowling, you've tried trapeze. Lucy's just obsessed with tetherball, 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 and anything that gets in the way is, just makes her annoyed.
You like that I'm multifaceted?
Yeah, I think that's cool. I mean,
And scene.
what do you mean you don't like the peck pop?
Oh my God, Daniel. Jeez, like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to become like a WWE wrestler? God, I feel like I can't even look at your face. I'm just distracted by the pop, pop, pop.
I know it grabs attention, seeing the
Pop,
booty pop, the
Pop.
wrist pop. I mean, I want to pop too.
All right. This relationship was really at the end of the tracks before you did the peck pop. And honestly, I need to leave. This is no longer good for me. I have to focus on the championship. And I can't see you again. And I know that means that I need to leave. But I'm going to go stay with Dr. Wong.
What? Come on, let's do that train trip to Alaska. I'm sure you'll feel differently by at least the time we hit Montana.
It did sound amazing to jump on the trampoline with you. And I think with this new wrist,
Yeah, you could
some pretty
bounce
good
all over the place.
tricks.
That would be awesome. And my pet, I could go face down, boom, then pop off the ceiling, boom. Awesome.
You're just
Lucy has something to tell you.
okay. Well, I'm so glad that you let me move in. You're just like really good chef.
Well, it's more than just your stomach that I was hoping to fill. Over these last few years, I think I've developed feelings for you.
Dr. Wong. I mean, age difference aside.
Yeah, 23 years is big. Fair.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's not like record-setting big, so I'm down to give it a try. I mean,
Well,
basically no one left in this town who hasn't had one of your injections, and they're all starting to look the same. You're the only person who looks unique anymore.
that's fair. That's part of my plan, was to somehow stand out. And while being only 4'7" doesn't help, making everyone look like they have a body part that pops, well, that was my secret.
End scene.
Well, Dr. Young,
Yes,
did you
Caitlin.
do it?
I did.
Broke her other wrist?
I didn't. Sorry, I didn't finish that. I was trying to say I didn't get to her other wrist. I know. I did something else though. I I encumbered the other wrist, her offhand, because I put an engagement ring on it. I proposed to her.
Dr. Wong, you know my scathing Yelp review that has cost you so much business will now just get worse. You put a ring on that tetherball hand.
I did, but you know, it's fine because there's hardly anyone in this town anyway. Certainly no other men, and I'm about all out of pop. So really, you know, I just, you know, I've kind of run myself into a corner here by giving everyone body pop.
And that's our show.
Oh, I wanted to hear other parts of bodies pop. Well, as Daniel said, that's our show. So let's give a big round of applause for Thermal Runaway. Or you can just clap in the chat box too. That's fine. All right, give it up for Daniel. Woo! And Jennifer. Woo!
Yeah.
Gifford.
Woo-hoo.
Woo! And Caitlin.
Woo.
Again, my name is Rashi. Thank you so much for joining us for LitFest, put on by Lit Comedy. Lit Comedy is a 501c3 nonprofit that has been bringing laughter to the masses for over a decade through performance and class. So if you're interested in taking a class, you think you're funny, you need something to do now that you're stuck at home quarantining, come learn comedy with Lit.